there. My name is Kat, and I'm going to be your career counselor today. What's your name?
My name is Jack. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you as well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, just looking for some advice on where to go.
All right, perfect. Do you want to tell me a little bit about yourself and what you're currently doing?
Yeah, currently I'm just in between jobs. I was kind of forced out of my last one for, in my mind, raising concerns about the clients and what was affecting them. And the upper management did not like that. So I'm just kind of looking for a new direction right now.
Okay, are you wanting to stay in your current field or are you maybe wanting to change fields?
I'd like to stay as a social worker and move into the therapy route.
Okay, perfect. Sounds great. I did have you take that skill point quiz before coming here today. How was that for you?
It was good. I felt like the questions could have used a little more fluidity or
Okay,
could have used a little more gray matter. I
okay.
felt like they were pretty black and white.
All right, perfect. And can you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you grew up?
Um, for me, I grew up in the same household that I'm living in with my dad. Uh, I don't really remember much about my childhood, kind of blocked it out, a lot of it really. Um, grew up upper middle class, always had what I needed, never really had to worry about food or clothes or where my next meal is going to come from.
Okay, perfect. And what about your parents? What do they both do for work? Is that something you're interested in?
I think I'm interested in the same field that my mom is in because she's a nurse practitioner, but I'm not interested in like nursing or
Okay,
stuff like that, but more the mental health field. My dad, on the other hand, is an engineer. So he's a lot with like numbers and code and that kind of stuff, and that's not really me. So I'd like to go into the same field as my mom, but not the same job.
okay, perfect. And how old are you?
29.
Awesome. And what's your highest education that you
I have
have?
a master's degree in social work.
Okay, perfect. And is that something you'd like to maybe get another degree, or are you kind of wanting just to stick with what you're at now?
I think I'm probably end up going back to school because a lot of job offers have been for school social work, but I need different certifications that I currently don't possess.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I did want to take a look at your skill point exam that you took. Overall, did you agree with the results or were you not too sure about those?
I would agree with the direction of the results, but like I said, I think in my mind, the skill point uh, exam is too black and white.
Okay.
I think if it allowed for more fluidity, I would agree probably with some of the actual results, not just the direction of the results. And by direction, I mean like field that
Hmm.
they're really tied to. Um, so I would agree with the field, but
Okay.
not the actual jobs they suggest.
All right. Would you be interested in taking like a different assessment or would you like just kind of explore some of the ones that were in your results?
I think for me, it would be a different assessment, probably one that is more like strongly disagree, agree, neutral, one
Okay.
that's more like a line, kind of
Perfect.
where you stand versus just yes or no.
Yeah, skill point was only the yes or no, so there wasn't really any variation. So I totally understand that, but I would like to look at the results that it had, just so we can talk a little bit about that and maybe what you liked and what you wouldn't like about each of those professions. Is
Okay.
that okay with you?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Perfect. That sounds great to me. For you, looking at your quiz results here, the first thing that actually came up with a pretty high match of 73% was the certified nursing assistant. Was How did you feel about that? I know you mentioned that you didn't want to do really what your mom was doing. Is that
Um,
something you ever thought about?
I've never thought about it. When I went to get my bachelor's in social work, my mom pushed me towards becoming a nurse. Uh, no, it was she pushed me towards uh, something in that regard, but I just didn't really wasn't my thing. I fell more in love with social work than anything.
Okay, perfect. And it looks like your second one was teacher assistant. And it sounds like you might have some interest in working with kids. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I would say I always thought when I was going to school that it would be more of the adults that I want to work with. But after working with um, youth at my last job, I actually have found myself more drawn to that population than adults.
Perfect. Well, let me annotate that one on your chart for you. Do you want to move on and look at some of the other options from your quiz?
Sure.
Perfect. Your third one was veterinary technician, and that was a pretty high match as well at 71%. How do you feel about the veterinary field?
I love animals. Um, but I don't think I could deal with the more gory kind of stuff that comes
Okay,
with like being a vet or a vet tech.
perfect.
Not really into like blood and that kind of stuff.
Okay,
Like I don't think it bothers me like on media or stuff, but I think in person, I think it'd be a very different story. I think I would have issues, probably like queasy issues, lightheadedness. I just don't think I could deal with seeing it in person.
okay, perfect. Well, it sounds like definitely working with kids and the social work aspect is kind of where you want to stay. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. I just have found myself that's the easiest population to work with. It might come from growing up with a little brother who is 8 years younger than me.
Okay,
So maybe it's the older sibling coming out in the professional sense.
okay. Can you tell me more about your relationship with your brother?
I mean, he lives with my mom up in Wisconsin. My parents got divorced around the time I was, well, they separated when I was 20, got divorced when I was 21. Um, Me and my brother have an okay relationship. Um, like it's not where we're hostile towards each other. Like we could sit down at like a dinner with like our dad if our dad were to take like me and him out. But we don't do any like bonding thing. Like we don't bond, like we don't go like just hang out, just the two of us. Even when I go up to see my mom in Wisconsin. Um, I would say our relationship is okay.
Okay, perfect. That sounds great. Thank you for sharing all that with me. Perfect. Well, thank you for sharing everything that you have with me thus far. Is there anything else that you'd like to share right now?
Yeah, I brought my resume with me, and I was thinking about changing it up and changing the organization of it. I just had a really good interview recently, and I'm thinking that they're gonna hire me. And I would like to, once I start working there consistently, put that on here. But I really don't know what to eliminate. And I was
Okay,
thinking of just reorganizing it in general.
perfect. Yeah, well, let me take a look here. I love that you have your work experience and it's dated very nicely. What about this document aren't you happy with? Just like the general
Oh,
order of things, or?
yeah, the general order, I wanted to move, like, I wanted to get rid of one internship.
Okay,
One internship, put this bottom internship in place of those, and then at this bottom one, put this interview, fingers crossed, if I get a call back from them.
okay, perfect. We can definitely look at this and kind of change it around a little bit here. Especially when I'm first looking at this, I think we could move your education more up to the top of your document and really highlight that work you've done because you've done quite a bit of work in this field already. And I'd want to make sure that people are seeing this.
Yeah, I think that would be fine because that would allow then, because then I could put the education at the top and right beneath the education, I could tie in the internships
Okay,
because
perfect.
all those internships were done when I was getting my bachelor's and master's degree. And then beneath the education and internships would be my work experience. So that would include um, where I recently left and then fingers crossed this new job.
Okay, perfect. And it did sound like you were talking about maybe getting more qualifications, and that is something that we could put in your education as well when you get to that point. And have you ever heard of anything called stacked credentials?
I have not.
Okay, well, it sounds like since you already have some of your education done, that you might be able to get some more additional certifications and credentials. Since you already have these two really basic major ones done, those credentials also could show your skills and show the further education paths that you have. Is that maybe something you'd be interested in looking into with me?
Yeah, because I've heard, or from what I've seen in the social work field, a lot of it is about credentials and what licensure you have and stuff. So that would be of interest to me because I know that with certain certifications, more doors open in the social work field, so I would be interested in that.
Okay, perfect. That sounds great. Thank you so much for sharing thus
Thank you.
far. Okay, perfect. Well, looking at your resume, I definitely think we can do some stuff with this and get it to where you're happy with it. Would that be something that you're okay with?
That would be something I would be interested in.
Okay, perfect. And it does sound like maybe taking another quiz might be a good option for you, just to see maybe if there's anything else that jumps out to you. It sounds like you want to stay in the field that you're in.
Yeah, I think that would be good just to find a different test that allows a little bit more fluidity.
Okay, perfect. Well, before meeting you again with this next session, I'll have you take this next quiz that
Mm.
will give us a little bit more information, maybe about your personality and other career interests that you have. I know it sounds like you're not wanting to leave the current field you're in now,
Mhm.
but down the road, if you ever do want to leave, at least you'd have a option of where you
Mhm.
want to go from here. I also think the next meeting that we have, we can talk more about your resume and about making it to where you're happy with it and that that's something that you're interested in. I think if you have any ideas for your next session of what you'd like to move around, we talked a little bit about that already today, but if there's anything that you would like to have me look at next time and see if I'm liking it more, feel free.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Perfect. That sounds so great. Thank you so much for your time today
Thank
as
you.
well. It was very nice to meet you, and
Very
I'm
nice to meet you.
really looking forward to meeting with you and again about your jobs.
Thank you.